Okay, so in this video we're going to look at background CSS. So to start this off, let's create a CSS file, do link, and we're going to call it, bkg.css. Alright, I'll just create the new file, make sure it's in the same directory, bkg.css. Okay, so let's look at the HTML file. Alright, so if you look in here, we create a few divs. We have a div with the ID of header, we have a div with an ID of content, and we have a div with the ID of footer. And let's create some more divs here too. Let's just say div with the class equals, we just call it like panel, right? Panel A, and this might be like little boxes that you might have around your website. Panel B, panel C. Okay, so now we have three panels with the class. Now the thing about class is there could be multiple panels, right? Because there's going to be several. There's only one header, so it's an ID. There's only one content area, so it's only one ID for content, and only one footer. Right? If you're going to have multiple, then you're going to have to make it a class. So IDs are always singular, classes are multiple. All right, so now we have that. So now what we want to do is we want to do some backgrounds. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we'll create an element. We're going to see on body. This is an element selector. We want to say background color, right? And we want to add a color, right? So we could say red. Now when I refresh, now everything just turned red. So it's that easy. The other thing we can use is we could use hexadecimal. So that's like, so another way of saying red is hash mark FF0000, right? And now if I refresh this, it's still red. And another way would be, actually let me just go here. So HTML color. So here you see, here, this is actually a pretty good website. So what they do here is, you have the actual name. Like you can actually write the name for certain numbers, for certain colors. You can use these hexadecimal, or you can use these RGB values. So that's three different ways that you can actually set color. Now, we added it on the body, right? And that's a pretty extreme color. So let's make this a little bit less extreme. Let's say it's CC, CC, CC. Okay. Now refresh this. It's that. And let's say we want the header to be blue, right? So for header, you can remember header was ID. Right, so in order to do ID, you want to add a pound sign or hash mark and say header, because that's what we named the ID. And here we're going to say background color equals, and we'll maybe say this is a lighter, so it's E, right? And now if I refresh this, now this is that color. I can say now I want my body. Maybe I want my content area to be the same. Actually, you know what? Yeah, maybe I want my header and I want my footer to be the same color. So to do that, you just add, you could do footer here, right? And do the same exact thing, right? And that'll work, right? Or if it's going to be identical, then the other thing you could do, so you don't have redundancy, you just remove that and just add a comma and write footer. And now here, same thing. So now if you want to change this to something else, let's say you want it to be 6666666, right? You just have to do it once, right? Okay, now I wanted to do the panels. So panels, now that's a class if you remember. So we call that a class here, class panel. So to do that, use a dot panel, right? And we can say this is going to be background color. I'll make that FFFFF, right? Or that's just another way of saying white, right? And refresh this. Now these are white. Okay. All right. So that's background color. What I might want to do though is not a background color. Maybe I want to do a background image, right? And I know a lot of you are using images in the background. So to do that, what we do is we want to say URL, right? And then we want to specify the URL of where this image is going to go. You can do absolute, or if you want to save it onto the same directory, you can just, you can just add, my file name, right, .say JPG or whatever, and that would work. I don't have one here, so I'm just going to grab one from the web somewhere. We'll say Google, and we'll say background image, right? And here's a nice colorful thing here. Let's grab this. So I'm just going to grab. Oh, that's not good. Let's grab another one. Trying to find, there we go. Just grab this one. View image. Hopefully, there we go. Okay, so this one gives me a background image, and I will now add it here. Right? If it's external, make sure it has the HTTP. Unless you save it into your directory, then you don't need that. Now let's go to our background and test that. And there we go. So now I have all of I have a background image in my HTML. There's some additional, if you go to background, you'll see there's more things that you can do. So let's just go and do a search for background CSS. And there's a bunch of background properties that you can use. So there's color, there's image, there's position, and definitely play around with these. Repeat. All of these are will really allow you to make. So for example, mine's repeating right now. I can say no repeat, right? And that's going to be part of background repeat. So let's go here, and if I go to here and I say, I go back to body and I say background repeat and no repeat. Now do that. Now you'll see it doesn't tile anymore like it did before. This is what it looked like before. So yeah, so that's explore, play around with background, and I think that'll hit some of the designs that you all have.